I am honored to have the opportunity to work with the Northwest Side Housing Center. I've been doing this with them for several years now. I've been a realtor for approximately 14 years. We want to talk about good points, things that the buyers need to know, and I encourage questions. We'll try to answer them as we go along, but if you can wait till the end of the presentation, as we only have very limited time, I want to go through this very quickly. Evie, let me know when you're ready.
I am ready. I just asked Caesar to send the your information to Adrian because Adrian didn't get it. So my apologies, Adrian. Go right ahead.
Continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So people ask themselves, why do we need a realtor? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Can everybody see his presentation up? Okay. Go ahead, Pedro.
So I don't see the presentation on the screen.
Yeah, it's not up.
Oh, my apologies. One moment. No. Oh, that's why. Okay. Working on it. Technical difficulties again. Share screen.
Okay, we'll leave this. Can you go on to the next one, Evie?
Sure. There you go.
Okay. Okay, so thank you once again, everyone, for being on the webinar. I appreciate your time. As everyone knows, why do we need a realtor? Well, we definitely need a realtor because a realtor needs to provide clear communication. There has to be a communication between the realtor and the potential buyer. We all need to have a team in place, and your team shall have the following persons on board, which is your attorney, which is your legal expert, your lender, which is the person who's going to lend you or borrow the money, your realtor, who is going to show you the property, find you the property in the proper location that you're looking, and also your home inspector, who, as you saw Jesse's presentation, is very important. I always recommend that you get a home inspection. What do we do? Well, we want to come together, have a meeting, and sit down, and I want to ask some questions as far as, you know, what are you looking for a property? What areas are you searching? Okay. Sometimes I find that not everybody gets to buy in the areas that they want for one reason or another, whether it be because of qualifications, taxes, but it all changes. We start in one location and we end up in another. We provide market knowledge. I know that people want to know, well, Pedro, if I put an offer on this property, how do I know that I'm putting the right offer on this property? Well, I do a market analysis, and I find out what has sold in the area within the past 3 to 6 months. And I give you an idea. It's a professional suggestion of what to offer. Okay, I would never tell you what to offer, but I can guide you during the process and give you my professional opinion of what the offer should be. I'll provide, we can work as a team. You can, if you, depending on what village you're in or what county you're in, you can always go to the particular county and check. We delegate. Sometimes I have a team and I have to delegate certain information and documentation to my office in order for me to provide the proper service that my clients need. Sometimes, like I said, we have a team in place, and sometimes things don't get done as fast as we want to, but we try to make things happen. We we advise when you do put a contract on the property and the appraisal comes back and it's lower than the value. Okay, we can always negotiate. I'll contact your legal expert, whether it be Steve or any other attorney of choice that you've had, and we'll put that right back on the seller's side of it. Uh, we'll show the appraisal, and we'll let them know that, hey, listen, this property is not worth what we offered, but what the appraisal is stating. And the reason we do that is because the lender will not give you any more money than what the appraisal says. And I'll give you an example. Let's say the property is $250,000 and the appraisal came in at $225,000. The bank will not give you that extra $25. They'll say, it's $25,000, excuse me. They'll say, no, this property is $225,000, and then that's what it is. Now, if you really like the property and it's somewhere where you want to live, it's good schools, you want to be close to your family, whatever the case may be. If you have the extra income that you can provide to the bank, then you could purchase the property. However, keep in mind that the appraisal is only going to state that the property at the time is only worth $225,000. You go on to the next slide, Evie, please.
Okay.
So here we have 7 reasons why to own a home, and I'm going to go through this very quickly because we don't have a lot of time. But the 7 reasons are tax benefits. You get to when you do your taxes, you could claim your mortgage interest deduction, you could claim your property taxes. That hopefully in turn will give you a higher return from the government, especially if you have children. That's a nice thing to have. You get the extra income. You get appreciation on the property. The longer you live in the property, of course, as long as nothing happens, as you know, unfortunately, this is an unexpected situation that we're living nowadays. But as long as you have your property, we hope and pray that appreciation continues. Even though through the pandemic, we're still selling houses. There's a lot of buyers out there. You develop equity, okay? It's a savings also. So basically that equity could turn into savings. Sometimes people use their equity if it's a good sizable amount. They'll say, hey, we haven't been on vacation for 5 years or whatever. Let's take a nice vacation. They'll tap into the equity of the property, which is basically savings. Predictability. You want to know that you have a place to live for you and your family. You know that your children's got a backyard or whatever the case may be. If you're living in a single family home or if you're living close to a park, these are good things to have to where you know that you're going to be able to provide for your family a stable stability of a home, right? And then you have the freedom of being able to paint the house whichever color you want. You have the freedom of listening to your TV. You don't bother nobody. You don't live in a building where people are going to complain, but you got that kind of freedom that you want to enjoy with the family. Next slide, please. So buying in a tight market, I get asked all the time, what's the process, Pedro? Well, the process is they call me first, they call the agent, and I try to explain to them, well, the first thing we need to do is we need to get you pre-qualified. We have to go to the lender, see what the lender's gonna be able to approve you for with your income, and they use the debt to income to basically give you a loan. You want to stay in close contact with me if anything changes for whatever reason. Let's say you have now another family member that's now coming to live with you, and instead of looking for a 2-bedroom house, now we got to look for a 3-bedroom. Communication is very important. We want to make sure that we communicate at all times, so that way we work as a team together and we reach the ultimate goal. You could use Different websites. You have Realtor.com, you have Zillow.com, you have Trulia.com, you got Redfin. Unfortunately, these are third-party websites, and they are not the most updated websites. I just got a call from a buyer uh, yesterday and asked me about a property that they saw on Realtor.com. Well, this property had sold 2 months ago. It can happen. If you're working with me, I will provide an app, basically the same app that I use to search for properties. I get to see if the property went under contract today. Everything is live. If it closed today, there was a price change today. Uh, the same information that I see, I give you access to. You can also use the app to search in different areas. If you believe that, hey, you want to look into this area and that area is not providing what you're looking for, you can always move around. You can change the amount of bedrooms. You can change the price range that you want to look into. It's a very friendly, very easy, friendly app to use. Contingencies. When we put something together, we want to make sure that we keep our contingencies to the minimum, as sellers want to work with buyers that are realistic. There's people out there that sometimes say, well, I want A, B, C, D, E, and F. Well, we can negotiate certain things, but sometimes if we have too many contingencies in place, the seller is not going to want to work with us. Don't get caught up in the buying frenzy. So when I say this, I mean, right now, even though we're going through the not normal conventional period, there are still buyers out there, and I'm still seeing, as of right now, I'm seeing multiple offer situations. Even though there's not a lot of traffic, a lot of buyer traffic, there is traffic. What I suggest, if you do have the opportunity to buy now, go ahead and do so before all this goes to a little bit more into a calmer state, and we get into the months of July and August, where you're going to have a lot more competition and a lot more multiple offer situations. You want to go to the next slide, please? Okay, 7 reasons to work with a realtor. Why would you want to work with a realtor? Well, we have to abide by the ethics, National Association of Ethics Code. Want to make sure that we provide you the expertise that you need right along from the beginning to the end. I will be there with you from the start to finish, as well as your team, your legal expert. They will be there as well. That's what we're here for. Your lender will also be there with you all the way to the end, up to closing. We encourage opinions, objections. We want to know about it. We want to know about, if you have issues with, let's say, utilities, or you want to go into a certain school district. We have issues with zoning. These are things that we can address by all means. Okay. Like I said, with my app, you can expand your search, your power of searching in different areas. And once you feel comfortable with that particular area, we could then move out and take a look at whatever amount of properties you want to take a look at, to make sure that you can make a educated decision as to where you want to be. Negotiation knowledge. This is what we do. We are experts in negotiation. We want to make sure that we negotiate certain things with the seller. We want to come to a common ground. We want to make sure that it's a win-win situation for everyone, not only for the buyer, but for the seller. We want to make sure that we do the right thing for all parties. Okay. I know this could be a frustrating, stressful process, but I'm here. I'm not only a realtor, but I'm also a friend. I'm here to listen to your concerns. If there's any time that we need to sit down and go back to the drawing board, that's what I'm here for. Next slide, please. So we want to go back to the first slide, Evie, which is probably one of the most important ones. There you go. So I tell my clients, we all need a place to stay. We all need a place to live. We pay rent, and this chart right here, if this is any indication of giving you that safety and security of wanting to purchase your own home, this is it. This is it. This will tell you basically what you're paying for rent. So you're paying $1,000. In 3 years, you put $37,000 in your landlord's pocket. Okay. If you're there for 5 years, basically 63,000. And these are approximate values, but this is something alarming. This is something that I want every potential buyer to see and know that they're not going to get this money back. So the minute in time, they're there for 5 years at $1,000, $63,000. You decide to move and buy a house. You can't go back to the landlord and say, "Hey, I've been a good tenant. Can you please, out of the 63,000 that I gave you, can you give me back 50 because I want to buy a house?" Fortunately, it doesn't work like that. But if you were living in a home and you were making your $1,000 mortgage payment, and in 5 years, you could very well have developed some equity. And that's the kind of equity that I'm talking about that you could tap into if, job is good, salary is good, and you need a vacation and you say, "Hey, let's see what we can do here to use some of the equity from the property to go on a nice family vacation," which is always nice to have. I want to go over a couple of real quick credit things that we should know, things that we should not do, and things that we should do. Okay, so the do's are, we want to make sure that we're paying our bills on time. Okay, we want to make sure that if we have any issues with our creditors, we are contacting them, letting them know if there's a problem with making a payment. You want to make sure that you reach out to them and let them know. You want to maintain your balance below 50%. Okay. You want to make sure that your credit limit is under 30%. It's very important that you keep it down that low, because you want to make sure that then you could get a loan that will be able to satisfy the amount that you're looking for. Lenders go by your debt to income, and they use your credit score, they use your debt, and then they use your income, and they figure all this stuff out. Okay. Things to not do is to pay your bills late. That's one thing that you don't want to do. If you show that you have a late payment, it's going to cost you some problems with possibly trying to get a loan. Okay. You want to make sure that you don't disregard any account charges. Sometimes, we get this medical bill that we forget to pay, and then, oh my God, I forgot about this payment. This is something that you can talk to your lender. Should I pay it? Should I not pay it? But you want to be open with your team. Of course, we all want to make sure that we are working towards a common goal. And like I said before, we're here to help you. We want you to be open and honest with us, just like we will be open and honest with you. You don't want to max out your credit cards. That's a no-no. I know that we have 2, 3, 4, 5 credit cards, and we find ourselves, in a situation where we need to use this credit card, a B credit card, C credit card. But we want to make sure that we are being conscious about how are we using our credit cards, so that will not affect us when we decide to get a loan. Okay. When you got your pre-approval letter, you don't want to open any new accounts. That's something that may not go good. You don't want to do that. I understand that you can shop for a mortgage. You could probably talk to, they pull your credit, but it's not like when you're looking for a car. When you're trying to buy a car and you go to 3 dealers in one day, every time they pull your credit, it takes effect on your credit. With buying a house, as long as you're doing it within a certain allotted time, I want to say it's like maybe 21 days, the banks know that you're shopping for loans, so they will not ding your credit, and it will not affect your credit at all. Okay, at this point, any questions? I know I had to go a lot faster than I wanted to go to. I think this webinar is supposed to end at 1 o'clock, or we're supposed to. But if there's any questions, I appreciate it. You see any questions in the
I
chat,
have a
Evie,
question.
for me?
I was just wondering, I know you guys are doing stuff like the first-time home buyers, but I had heard about something else called the HEROES Act. Are you guys familiar with that or no?
Okay, so that, are you a veteran?
No, a healthcare worker.
Healthcare. Okay, so there are programs for healthcare workers. There are, and that's something that your lender. I don't know if all lenders work with that, but I do know that some do. They have the next door neighbor program. They have programs for the healthcare. They have programs for EMTs, firefighters, police officers. So yeah, that's a good question. And again, that's something that you may want to direct to a particular, I don't know who your lender is, but there are lenders out there that will work with you on that type of program.
And in the meantime, I'll start reaching out to the lenders to see if anybody is working with that HEROES Act. And I'll let you know. Who was that asked the question? Suzanne?
It's Suzanne, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Suzanne, if you need further help with that, I don't know. I think my information is on the, if you got, did you email this to everybody, Evie? The presentation?
Yes, well, Caesar's gonna send it out after our webinar, our Zoom. So they will have it. And another question was, how do student loans that are not in repayment affect debt to income ratio? So real quickly, the debt to income ratio, if you are not on a repayment, most lenders will go ahead and take 1% of your balance and add that to the debt to income ratio, just because they know that eventually you're gonna end up paying it anyway. Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Steve, any last note? Pedro?
No,
Again, I
not
want
for
to
me.
thank everyone. Go ahead,
Okay.
Mr. Clary.
All righty. Caesar, anything to say?
No, just make sure the people that use their phone, can I please have your name and email, because if you're not able to put it in the chat, so anyone that's using their cell phones, if you could please give me your name and your email.
Well, I'm using my phone. How do I get, you want me to give it to you here?
Well, I put in the
Yes.
chat box
Can you-
our
yeah.
email address if you can't do it now. If you're driving or you're working.
No, I can do it now.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
My email is Kiana, KIYANAH, the letter R, @me, that's me.com. KianaR@me.com.
okay, so let me repeat that. KIYANAHR @me.com.
Yes,
Okay. And what's your first name? Kiana?
yes,
Okay, got you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, because it is important. Evie's gonna send the intake package. In order for us to give you this certificate, you would have to fill out the intake package and send it
Intake
to
form.
Evie. The intake form. Yeah, sorry. And the intake package will take place once we set up our one-on-ones, and that will, I mean, we could start sending the intake package if you guys are ready for a one-on-one. So like that we could accommodate with our schedules and time. And it will be over the phone, and it would not be no more than an hour. It will be like an hour counseling.
Jadira asked if we're going to be doing this workshop in Spanish. I am currently working on the documents to be translated in Spanish so we can start doing it in Spanish, Lord willing, in June. I need a couple weeks to get that going, so thank you for asking. But I will be doing the Spanish workshop as well, starting in June.
Okay, and Martha said, is there a time we should reach out to you if we do not receive the certificate? So yeah, in the meantime, give us time. We're trying, because these certificates have to be signed by us. So we're trying to do it electronically, e-doc, where we could see if we could sign those certificates and we could send it to you guys via email. I do know that I will be at the office on Thursday. So if anything, I will be able, I am able to do it in the office, and I could just scan it through our printer system and try to send it to you guys individually through email. So give it about a week or a week and a half. We're just trying to figure things out with doing it over the house.
You guys have been great and very attentive, and I appreciate you guys joining us. This is our first session via Zoom, and it won't be the last. This is unfortunately the new way to do things, so we have to be ready for that, right? So anything that you guys could send to us via what do you want us to perfect or anything, just let us know. I thank you all for joining. Pedro, Steve, thank you so much for chiming in.
Evie, I have a question real quick.
Yes.
So I did the first class
Yes.
right. That's when we filled out the intake, correct?
Yes, but they are in the office. So I'm currently receiving it at our at home. I do have a printer and stuff, so I can go ahead and have that folder ready. Unfortunately, if you're not in the system right now, then I need you to fill it out, and I'll go ahead and give you credit for both.
Okay, so where can I find that intake form?
We will be sending it to you after I get off.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, because it is important that even though you attended the first one, we still need an intake for the second one, because that shows proof that you were to get the certificate. Okay, go ahead, Pedro.
I want to thank everyone who was on the webinar. Once again, thank you for your time. If anyone has any questions in reference to real estate, I appreciate the opportunity to help them out. Look forward to speaking with you. My information is on the email or flyers that I sent over to Evie. If you guys have any questions, I could give you my information. My callback number direct is 773-988-6543. I appreciate working with you guys, and I look forward to being able to assist you in your home purchase.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be safe, everyone.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Great day.